This video is brought to you by my latest book, How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar, a comprehensive guide to doing exactly that, playing melodic rock lead guitar. This is not just some collection of scale patterns and tabs, although you do get plenty of those, but you also get an entire chapter on how to come up with your own licks, as well as video content, tutorials and demonstrations, loads of jam tracks, and all the way through I'm encouraging you to expand your fretboard knowledge and showing you how you can think in a more musical and melodic way. Check out the link in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That little piece of music there, you could I suppose call it a guitar solo, but it was more of a fretboard workout than anything else in terms of fretboard knowledge. You probably noticed that there were one or two rather obvious key changes in there, where it was going from the key of D minor to the key of A flat major and back again. But there were other subtler key changes in terms of what was happening with the lead guitar part, and that forms the basis of a little bit of a challenge that I'm going to put out there today. Can you adapt to key changes, even chord changes, without having to kind of chase up and down the neck because you only know that particular pentatonic scale at that fret, and then it's going to change to this other pentatonic scale and you have to go to that fret for that one. Yeah, I was moving around the neck quite a bit in that solo. That was dictated by the ebb and flow of the musical ideas that were coming to me as I was playing. It wasn't because I felt compelled to kind of go to a different fret because, in order to accommodate a key change or a chord change. So the challenge is, if you're up for it, can you remain on a single part of the neck and handle the chord changes and the key changes that are in that jam track? Tell you what, here's some information on exactly what was going on and how you can possibly, navigate your way around it.
Here is the explanation.
Okay, so this is the chord sequence I was jamming over earlier. You can see it's in two sections, which I've called an A section and a B section. And the running order of the jam track is that it goes A section, B section, A section, B section, B section, and that's the end of it. And what I'm effectively doing is treating each chord as its own little key center and playing the pentatonic scale of each chord in turn. So, for example, for the D minor chords, I'm playing D minor or F major pentatonic, which has the notes D, F, G, A, and C. For the B flat major chord, I'm playing B flat major pentatonic, or alternatively known as G minor pentatonic, which has the notes of B flat, C, D, F, and G. Then for the C major chords, I'm using the C major or A minor pentatonic, which is C, D, E, G, and A. For the A flat major and F minor chords, I'm using the appropriate pentatonic there, A flat major, F minor, which has the notes of A flat, B flat, C, E flat, and F. And finally, for the C minor and E flat chords, they share a pentatonic as well, the C minor, E flat major pentatonic, which has the notes of C, E flat, F, G, and B flat. And it's the ability to stay on one part of the neck, or not have to kind of move up and down too much, that and move between those scales, which is the thing that we're exploring here. Okay, before we get into this, it should go without saying, but I'll say it anyway, you need to know your 5 pentatonic box patterns. That's just a prerequisite for this. If you're not sure about them, then I did a video a little while ago explaining how, because my guitar kept breaking strings and I was having to find alternative locations for notes that I needed to play, that sort of taught me the neck, and that's how I figured out the pentatonic box shapes. But here they are. I'll just do them all in the key of A minor, C major. There's pattern 1. Pattern 2 is here. 3 is here. Here's 4. Pattern 5. And back to pattern 1 again. Like that. And you notice I was able to play those without any hesitation. I was speaking while I was doing it. So if it takes 100% of your concentration just to remember where your fingers have to go to in order to remember the box pattern, then you don't have any spare processing capacity to to think about musical decisions, about how to do phrasing and all that sort of stuff. So a good test is, can you play those shapes whilst having a conversation with someone? Well, if there's no one there, read aloud from a book or a magazine or whatever whilst you're walking through the patterns. When you get to the point where you can play those box shapes just on autopilot, then that's when you're ready to start making music with them. Now, the essence of what we're doing here, for instance, like if I was to go for like that first pattern D minor, I'll do it in position 1, that first chord change. D minor pentatonic, pattern 1 lives here. Then the first chord change I get is going to a B flat, and I know that B flat major or G minor pattern 1, pattern 4 rather, lives here. And so on. I could then go to back to the D minor, same shape we had. Here it is. Then C major is the next one, and I know that pattern 3 of C major lives here. Then when it goes to the A flat major or F minor, well, I can do this shape. Like that. That's basically pattern 5. And then the C minor, E flat major, that's pattern 2. And then the only other one is the C major, which we've already done. There it is there. So that's how I'm playing this solo. Yes, I do kind of move around the neck in that solo, but those moves are dictated by just the general flow and the musical ideas that are coming to me as I'm playing. I'm not thinking, oh, I have to go to that fret because that's where that scale lives. Or, it's not the kind of chord changes and the necessity to move to a different part of the neck to accommodate a change in scale that's dictating the moves. It's just how the music's flowing that's doing it. So the I guess the big question is, how do you get that level of knowledge? Well, perhaps the level of knowledge to be able to just stay in one part of the neck and play multiple different scales that overlap each other. I guess the most commonplace way that's taught is something called the caged system, which if it works for you, then fine, but I find it a little bit cumbersome because it's based on chord shapes. You've got to think of a chord shape, a C, an A, a G, an E, or a D, then mentally capo that at a particular part of the neck where you know that chord shape will give you the one that matches the chord you're playing over. Then you've got to think about which pentatonic box pattern surrounds that chord shape. Then, if it's a minor chord, you've got to do the old kind of, because the cage system is based on major chord shapes. You've got to think about what is the relative minor of the major chord that you've got, and so on. So there's a lot of processing there. The two ways that I tend to do it are, one, I'll just think about the notes involved. So, for instance, when you saw me go from D minor to B flat major, I know that the only difference between those two scales, D minor pentatonic, is D, F, G, A, C, D, F, G, A, C, D, F, G, A, C, D, F, etc. And I know that the B flat major pentatonic is B flat, C, D, F, G. Or put another way, you just take the A note in the D minor pentatonic, bit out of tune, apologise, and move it up a semitone to B flat. Like that. There's only one note difference between those two scales. So if I know where that note is, all I've got to do is just tweak that one note, and I've made the change from one scale to another. D minor pentatonic has become B flat major pentatonic. So that's one way that I'll tend to do it. Likewise, if I'm going from D minor to C major, I know that D minor is D, F, G, A, C, D, F, G, A, C, D, F. And I know that C major pentatonic is C, D, E, G, A. Or put another way, if I take the F notes in D minor pentatonic and move them down to E notes, then I've got the C major pentatonic. So, this is just another example of how, if you know where the notes are on the neck, it makes everything just that much easier. It stops you having to have your memory clogged full of patterns and shapes. How do you get that knowledge is perhaps a conversation for another day, but it's basically by doing things like this, finding where notes are, and, then using that little bit. I make the distinction between information and knowledge. Where a note is, that's information, okay? Once you've internalized that information, it becomes knowledge, and you internalize that information by making use of it. Don't try learning every single note on every single string and every single fret all at once, because it's like standing in front of the fire hose. It'll never sink in. But just doing it a little bit at a time. There's an F note. I change it to an E. I've made my D minor pentatonic scale into a C major pentatonic scale. So that's one way of doing it, just on a kind of molecular level, if you like, just thinking in terms of the notes. The other way that you can do it, and I did a video on this particular topic a few weeks ago called, I think it was something like X marks the spot for melodic solos. Just get to know where pattern 1, this shape, is in every conceivable key. It's easy enough because, we know that's an F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, and that's the note which in that particular pattern tells you the minor name of the scale. Okay, so that's fairly easy. Most of us know this string pretty intuitively because it's where we find our bar chords for the most part. So just learn where pattern 1 is in every single key. And then all of the other patterns, 2, 3, 4, and 5, always have a fixed relationship to where that pattern 1 will be in any given key. So, for example, if I'm up here, let's say I'm around about the 5th fret, okay? Down here. Okay, and I want to play D minor pentatonic. I know the pattern 1 of D minor pentatonic is there at the 10th fret. And I know that any time in any key if you go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets from where pattern 1 is, that always takes you to pattern 4. So there's D minor pentatonic pattern 4, right? I don't have to go anywhere near the 10th fret to establish D minor pattern 1. I just have to know that pattern 1 is at the 10th fret, and if I'm around about the 5th fret, well, I just think, okay, that's 5 frets below pattern 1. That's how, and that's always where pattern 4 is rather. And as I say, I did a video on that, but why not work it out for yourself? If you know those 5 pentatonic box patterns from the given starting point for pattern 1 in any key, how far away from that, up or down, are the other 4 patterns of the 5 box set? And then you'll find yourself, you can just very, very quickly navigate your way around the fretboard just by doing that. And it just becomes, as I say, the information ends up being useful. And once information has become useful, you remember it, and that's when it becomes knowledge. So there you go, a little pentatonic challenge for you. See how you get on with it. But whatever you do, go away and have some fun with it. So if you're one of my Patreon supporters, first of all, thank you so much. As you probably already know, you're going to get the jam track that I was playing over there, along with the Guitar Pro and PDF tabs of the solo, the explanation you've just seen, and the clip of me playing the solo. As always, that's up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description. $3 or about £3 a month gives you access to all of these goodies. So if you're one of those wonderful people who support me on Patreon, then you've got the jam track. That's in the bank. You can use that and have a go. But, if you are not a Patreon subscriber, maybe it's the idea of a monthly commitment isn't your kind of thing, then why not put that jam track together yourself? Okay, rewind the video and or scroll back, or whatever we call it these days, and look at the chord changes, and record it into your looper pedal, or use chord pulse or band in a box, or one of the many multitude of ways that you can generate your own backing tracks these days, and give it a go. See how you get on. See what what challenges it brings, and just give it a go. It will enhance your fretboard knowledge doing this kind of thing, and that's got to be a good thing, hasn't it? But there you go, folks. That is the video for today. As I say, links to the 2 videos, the kind of pentatonic location thing, and how I discovered the pentatonic box patterns. I'll put those links down in the description. But that's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you're going to give this a go, this little challenge. And if you do, let me know how you get on in the comments. I'd be interested to know. And if you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, notification bell, all that sort of stuff that us YouTubers are compelled to say in every video. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it, or have I already said that? Probably. But that's it for today. And what else do I need to say? Yes, live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. Beer and chat on a Friday. Great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.